what's up? We're reading out of this book right here. Okay. Sophia, Goddess of Wisdom. I don't know if a lot of y'all familiar with Sophia, but this is what she looked like, okay? The divine feminine from Black Goddess to World Soul. That's by this lady right here. Catalin Matthews. And this is her right here. So I don't know where she's from, but she the one that wrote this book. So we're going to get into the prologue. Okay, and the prologue says, if you want to read it with me. The West is exiled of the goddess. Her features are unknown to us. Guess that. Hope for. Rejected. As the aberration. Feared as the monstrous and deformed. We in the West are haunted by the loss of our mother. Our mother country is a place many have never visited, though it is endlessly projected as a golden matriarch. Okay? Or a paradise. But through the house of the goddess is a disrepair. Can you guys see that? You guys see where I'm at? After so many centuries of neglect, some have began the work of restoration while others have already moved back in and are renovating from within. Okay? But if the goddess has been displaced from her territorial home all this long while, where has she been residing in the interim? Okay, this book is an attempt to answer that question. The goddess did not simply die out or go into cold storage 2,000 years ago to be revived today in the same forms she manifests them. If the goddess wanted to survive and accompany her people, surely she would have done so in a skillful and subtle manner. Sophia is the great lost goddess who has remained transcendently within orthodox spiritualities. Don't miss that one. She is veiled, blackened, denigrated, and ignored most of the time. Or else she is exalted, hymned, and pedestaled as an allegorical abstraction of female divinity. She is allowed to be a messenger, a mediator, a helper, a handmaid. She is really allowed the privilege of being seen to be in charge, fully self-possessed and creatively operative. Sophia is the goddess for our time. By discovering her, we will discover ourselves and our real response to the idea of divine feminine principle. When that idea is triggered in common consciousness, we will begin to see an surge of creative spirituality, which will sweep aside the outworn dogmas and unlivable spiritual scenarios which many currently inhabit. Okay, so when Sophia walks among us again, the temple of each heart will be inspirited, for she will be able to make her home among us properly. Up to now, she has been sleeping rough in just about every spiritual reality you can name. The rediscover Sophia we have, and we have to infiltrate a conspiracy of professional Orthodox interests in order to flush her out of hiding and liberate her from the clutches of those who say they have a vested interest in the possession of wisdom. Wisdom is neither good or bad, male nor female, Christian nor pagan. She is no one's personal possession. The goddess of wisdom reaches down to the depths of our need. She simply being, her simple being is so vast present that we have not noticed it. Indeed, we have not unknown the depths of our need, nor that any assuaging wisdom was near at hand. Okay? Yet, the goddess of wisdom is not a newcomer to our phenomenal world. Well, I'm trying to find her. So how is it we have failed to notice her? Messed up, failed to notice her. I'm tripping. The Western world has been so busy about its affairs that only a few unusual have talked and written about her. It has been in such overblown, esoteric language that few have taken notice. Wisdom trades under impossible titles. Mother of the philosophers, the eternal feminine queen of good counsel, and other such nominations do not inspire confidence. These beings are impossibly remote. They sit about all day in courts of law, or in places, or in intensive committees and government boards. They are scarcely approachable in these terms, in these forms. Alright. So that's dope. We learned a lot right here. Okay, so let's go on. Work with me on these words, man. I can read a little bit, but I ain't the best reader. Okay. And yet we have the dichotomy. Y'all work with me. Say what that area is. Y'all see it right there. Dichotomy. Okay. And yet, we have the dichotomy that this rarefied being is the most appreciated by the very simple and unlearned, who turn to her as natural as to their own mothers. For she really helps us in ways that philosophy and other arcane studies do not. Okay? We feel at home with her because she has been and heard it all before. She has the same kind of battered face as her petitioners, for she offers real wisdom, not the kind offered by Lady Bountiful, who are all mouth and no sense. Okay? Alright, so we're going to get into a little bit of stuff now. Let's see how we going. Okay, so what does this say? Okay, right here, this says, let's finish it. This is aptly born out in C.S. Lewis till we come faces his masterly retelling of the psychic story. Here, psychic's hand sister, she has been responsible for installing a brand new statue of the goddess. She witnessed a peasant woman cast herself down in front of the ancient stone formerly representing the goddess. Okay. So, has Unjit conformed you? Child, I asked. Oh, yes, Queen, said the woman, her face among brightness. Oh, yes. Unjit has given me great comfort. There is no goddess like Unjit. Unjit, whatever her name is. Okay. Do you always pray to that, Unjit? Said I, nodding towards shapeless stone. And not to that. Here I nodded towards our new image, standing tall and straight in her robes. The loveliest thing our land has ever seen. Oh, always this queen, she said. That other, the Greek Unigent, she would understand my speech. She's only for nobles, learned men. There's no comfort in her. Okay. So let's finish this. Okay, so it is for this very reason that this book goes down to the roots of the goddess of wisdom and shows her many whether I want to show that the blackened old stones once venerated as goddess and the crystalline virgins of esoteric spirituality are not to dismount. Okay, y'all see that word right there? I'm gonna follow on it. Okay. So, not so dissimilar, okay? That they both represent Sophia in all her forms, okay? Neither image is better or more achieved than the other. Okay. Where is wisdom to be found? As the book of wisdom. This question is the preoccupation of philosophers and theologians who make it their profession to find out, but it is also the question of ordinary folks too. How can I best do this? What does this mean? Are typical questions to find the wisest course between the one and the other. There is a world of difference. It is what divides the theoreticist and the practitioner. The practitioner. Okay, so work with me on these words. Sorry about that, but it's still good information. Okay, once we allow Sophia to become an abstraction, we lose touch with her. Okay, our culture tells us that there is a great deal of difference between divine and earthly wisdom. That one is to be sought while the other is to be despised. See, we gotta despise earthly wisdom. This earthly wisdom that they got us locked into. My thesis is that divine and earthly wisdom, though having different appearances, nevertheless partake of the same essence. Our society has mainly lost sight of Sophia and attempted to split her into various manageable parcels. Okay, frequently reduced to gods. Okay, to gods. Secretary who nevertheless still supplies all the efficiencies of the divine office. She is form all time, the treasure of creation, the mistress of compassion. Okay, so we're going to get into that for Return of the Goddess. And this is what we're going to be studying here. Studying this book, Black Goddess, Chapter 1, the Sacred Marriage, the Savior Goddess, Wisdom among the philosophers. Wisdom builds her house, the cloud of the sanctuary, the divine. Okay, you see all that? The bride of the God, Virgin of the Light, the Black Virgin. Ooh, 10 gonna be good though. The Black Virgin, the Grail Goddess. Virgo, number 12, Virgo. Okay. Apocalyptic Virgin. That's dope right there. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope y'all like that. And if you want to go back and read that for yourself, I put it on there for you. So, I missed a few words. But, I think you got the gist of what was going on here with this book. But we're going to get into this book. This is chapter 1. Right, that was just really the, what was that? Yeah, that was the, hold on. Yeah, so we're going to get into, next, probably getting into this, but we can start a little bit. Okay, let's just read this part. When we speak of God, no one asks, which God do you mean? As they do when we speak of goddess. The West no longer speaks the language of goddess because the concept has been almost totally erased from consciousness, although many are trying to remember it. Our ancestors were very young when they were taken from the cradle, and it is now difficult for us, their descendants, to speak or think of feminine divinity without the unease of someone in a foreign country. We have been raised to think of deity as masculine, and therefore a goddess is a shocking idea, but we do not speak here of goddess, rather of the goddess, and we speak it boldly with growing confidence because we find we like the taste of the idea. Okay, when did we wake up this idea? She asked. We didn't invite the goddess. She was always there from the beginning. We tell them. So we're going to get into this. Look at that right there. That's the goddess of the Trojans. You see that? Y'all familiar with her? Let's get into this. And then the Zeus, when the summer Zeus caught sight of the mother of the gods, he hurled the thunderbolt and took up the drum. He shattered the rock. See, we're going to get into that, what Zeus did. Y'all interested in Zeus? So I think that's her son. See, her son Zeus. See, the myth of Saran in the later classical world told how the Great Mother was sleeping on the Mount Ida in the form of a rock, or some say as the earth itself. Her son Zeus. So this lady right here, right? Her son is Zeus. That's how deep this is gonna get. You see that? Her son is Zeus. So that's what we get into. Let's see if I got anything else here. The sacred marriage. Okay, and this says, I believe that most of what was said of God was in reality said of that spirit who was body in earth. Cradle to the earth. Alright. So that's a little something. Okay, so there you go, look. So what did I say? The goddess Isis. See, now we're getting into Isis. Y'all know who Isis is? The goddess Isis in her life-giving function as patroness of the Nile. Okay, so that's really, see Isis right there. Okay, so let's see what else we got. We're just going through this book right now, but we're gonna get into it. Okay, so we got some stuff from Ethiopia and India. See there, we got some stuff from India. So what does that say? Okay, so here's the Syrian goddess right here. You see that? That's the Syrian goddess. Okay, goddess, and this is one right here is goddess aspect in Babylon. That's the Babylon. See that? Babylon. That's the goddess of Babylon. Beth Shan and Paphos, whatever how you say that. But this is the goddess of Syria. See how this book is? I'm telling you. Let's get it real deep. And see, another thing y'all need to know is about Sophia is that that's Gnosticism. Okay, Gnosticism preceded Christianity. Okay, Christianity came after these people were wiped out. Okay, their creation story is, Yaldabaoth broke out of her side of her womb. Yaldabaoth broke out the side of her womb and created this world that we live in. So an evil God created this world that we live in. Her son. But we have to get back to her because she made a mistake. She chose to have a baby without a man. She used some type of energy. I don't know. She used some type of energy and had a baby without the help of a man, and that's what went wrong. Something went wrong. It was a botched job, and then he made this botched job we living in right now. See, he didn't know that there was a God above him. He thought he was the God, but there was gods above him. But that gets into the Sephiroth. I don't know if y'all know what Sephiroth is, but that gets into that. Okay, look at this. The three goddesses of Elysiana's mystery. Y'all familiar with these goddesses right here? Look at this. Despair was worshipped as the mistress of the underworld among the Orphanites. See that? Okay. If y'all know about anything about goddesses, you should definitely know who that is. That's a well-known one. This one right here, these two, those are some familiar names. So we're just going through this, man, show you how it is going to be. Okay. Got these pictures right here. You know, we got white goddesses too. There's white goddesses. You know what I'm saying? You can't exclude the white people out. You can't exclude the Arabic people in that area over there. The Middle Eastern goddesses. The African goddesses. All of every country has a goddess. South American goddesses. Every country got goddesses. So let's check this part out right here. This sounds kind of crazy right here. The monad. We're gonna get into the monad. See that right there? The monad. I mastered the monad. That's something too deep. But we're gonna go right here. It says, okay. See, it says Eve right there. Okay. It says, this makes Isis like Eve, whose female descendants went on bearing children endlessly until Mary brought Christ to birth to set right the ancient ancestral sin of mankind. Man, that's some info right there. Ooh, man, don't miss that info right there, man. Y'all don't want to miss none of these videos. I'm telling you. Look, Eve. Okay, so Isis, many colored garments became like Persephone's web or Athene's preplum. So that preplum right there, and that's web right here. You have to go look that up, see what that is. And a reflection of the multiplicity of nature. Okay. Ooh, Set Typhon. Look, Set Typhon. You know what that is? As we have seen, Isis set herself up in the opposition of Set Typhon. Is that who is the manifestation of evil in Plutarch's Hellenistic cosmology? Set Typhon, Set is from Egypt. You know what I'm saying? That was Osiris's brother. Who got jealous of Osiris and did him wrong, as Mary was to do later in Revelation. Okay, so see, gets into that. Then we got another picture right here. Look like a Chinese goddess right there. So you do got the Chinese goddesses, Chinese goddess, Japanese goddesses. But that's look like that type of picture. But that's Isis. Interesting. But you got black pictures, you got white pictures. That's because there is. Okay, so there's goddesses in every continent. Okay, so let's check this out. We got Justice is one of the genesis of the goddess of wisdom. Sometimes it is Syrian chaotic justice of the black goddess who, as NF segment is vicious. We're gonna definitely get into something on segment, sick her on segment. You can use segment, sick on your enemies, but you might not want to do that because it could get ugly if your enemy is doing something very wrong. Okay, you got Ishtar, send a destruction upon the earth. See what I was just telling you? See what I just told you that. They send the destruction, boy. Okay. You got the knock-in. You got that. Okay, so what else we got here? Just showing you what we getting into. Gonna get into under this book. This channel is all about. So you got the part 2. You get into the white version. See that? Part 2, you get into the white version. Okay, getting into Minerva. I don't know if that's a white goddess or not, but I'm pretty sure y'all heard of that. Alright, so we just taking a scroll through the book. Just to show you a little something. And we ain't being biased. We ain't being biased at all. Okay, so another picture in there. Okay, so we got a lot of. What's this? This is a Virgo's Virides. Okay, so that's cool. That's gonna be on the Virgo side. The Virgin is just as the morning star. To the Prince of Darkness before he fell. Lucifer is thus opposed to Mary, just as the woman clothed with the sun is the eternal opponent of the beast with the 7 heads in Revelation 7. Okay, but the mythic necessity for an adversary who polarizes demonic evil with deities good has generally taken the line of least resistance in the West that role has been assigned to women. Okay. So, this is your little something. That the apocalyptic virgins represent took off faith with which caused into question Adam and Eve stewardship of the paradisal garden. Okay. We'll get into that. So this gets into the Bible a little bit also, I see. As they get into all type of stuff. Okay, so this right here says many Christians, feminists have begun without much fanfare to speak of the Sophia goddess of Jesus and the Jesus Sophia, which take us back to the divine. Sizning. Now that's a hell of a word right there. You gotta go look that word up. Of Gnosticism. See, I was telling y'all about that earlier. About how that was Gnosticism. That was Gnosticism. Telling y'all about that. Remember? Mary, check this out. Mary is the mother of incarnations. Okay. Thousands of Catholics pray to the Angelus daily in members of her fiat, let it be. The response which she made to the angel when invited to be the mother of Christ. So you can see why the Catholics would give all praise to Mary. Or they would give all praise to Mary. So, get into this book. Who is this? You see this right here, man? This is crazy. This hymn to the eternal feminine brings us to the realization that Gretchen and Mephistopheles are the Venus and Lucifer of Faus's existence. This guy right here, he wrote a bunch of stuff. I think that's what it was. I know y'all probably familiar with him. If y'all here tuning in on this video, I know y'all familiar with him. This is crazy, man. Gretchen, like the fallen Sophia, languishes in a multitude of emotions, but eternal feminine. Idolized as virgin can be constructed as transcendent Sophia, who draw the instincts of humanity to higher ends. Okay. And, there's something that says that righteousness can lift humanity back up into the right to Sophia. She's climbing up. Sophia's climbing up. She's trying to get up. She needs our help. You know what I'm saying? The righteousness of us helps Sophia climb up. And we can get closer up to the top. To the Ein Sof. You gotta get to the top. I'll show y'all what I mean later on. The image of the alchemical king and queen. See that? And the Congress is the highest human conception of union. check out this part right here. You see this, the Phyllis, whatever that is. Can you see that? Suprema, whatever that is the one through whom the Holy Spirit brings about the divine. Damn. Prometheus, a God of love, into a man of gentleness, and is begotten by an unknown father, and by the Sophia. So Sophia's task is to reconceive us, bring us spiritual rebirth. Okay, so she's trying to bring us spiritual rebirth, but we have to climb to get to her. And I'll explain all that some other time. You see this? The sun is Helios, Apollos. The moon is Artemis. So that the Mars is, okay. I'm sure y'all know this one. Mercury is Hermes. Of course, Jupiter is Zeus. Okay. Venus, Aphrodite. Okay. I'm pretty sure y'all know who Aphrodite is. Okay. Saturn is Kronos. That makes sense to you. Esotericism is primarily about the harmony between the seen and unseen realms, the great above and the great below, as above, so below, as in, so without. Okay, heaven and earth, because it operates by means of symbolic language. It is also called the occult or hidden, like the veil of Sophia. Okay, so I ain't gonna take up too much more of y'all time, man. This is some good stuff. I don't want to leave out without no good stuff. It's common practice to send the returning energy of the ritual to any in need throughout the world, often by means of invoking the world soul nature of the goddess, depending on the philosophy of the symbol group. Okay, so we looking to invoke the goddess energy. Okay, we looking to invoke that goddess energy. Here we go. We got another picture. You dig, Ski? We got another picture. Okay. So just check this out right here. This one says, the image of the alchemical king and queen is in the Congress is the highest human conception of union. Okay, we return to our pivotal word knowledge once more, where sexual union and sacred knowledge are one of the same. The mystics' union with God, the alchemist's production of the elixir or living stone are symbols of this union. The Islamic alchemist Shekinah, I see. So, are y'all familiar with her? The Islamic alchemist Shekinah. Anyway, she bids us to contemplate the living stone of alchemy process, meditate, and understand the sign, for such a body is preciously the sign of the dweller in the paradise. Alright. So if y'all want to read the rest of that, y'all can, but I just wanted to give y'all just a little something out of this before we get all the way into it. Okay, we got some more pictures. over there. Got some white angels, got some black angels, got some light-skinned angels. The reason I like this book is because it gives concepts on everything. Okay, so check this out. Sophia, holy wisdom, came into the Russian soul, never to leave it. She deeply associated with the natural images of, and others. Okay, when the Cathedral of St. Sophia was erected in the Byzantine building, are said to have printed above the altar and immense images of the woman with hands raised in order to suggest to the pagan Slavs the association of the Christian feminine deities, Mary and Sophia, with the pagan Great Mother, whose image with uplifted arms adored folk art. Alright, so it's in Russia. So the Roman Church has finally come to acknowledge what Valentinus has known all along. The civilization could come into this fallen world only through a perfect virgin mother who is without intercourse, conceived the Savior, and without loss of virginity gave him birth. The term Rhoda Sophia is still better. Gnosis late than Gnosis never. Better late than never. Okay, so we're going to get into this, man. Hopefully I can catch y'all on the next video. You want to see that again? See what I was by this lady. Alright, so I appreciate y'all sticking with me to the end. I hope y'all got some good knowledge out of that. And we will get into this book on part 2, part 3, part 4.